called into session. I'm going to do the roll call.
Why are we?
Gary Boren. Ruben Clark.
Here.
Russ Collins.
Here.
Lee Gunn.
Here.
Jennifer Hall. Roger Hewitt. Here. John Egypt.
Here.
Jim Lundstein. Here. John Moat. Keith Orr. Sandy Smith.
Here.
And John Split.
Here.
We got your quorum.
Thank you.
Keith is here.
Keith is here.
I just saw Keith. I just got.
Keith is wandering around someplace.
He doesn't count.
He's here.
Here he is.
Here he is.
You have to
Here.
say here.
Keith Orr.
Here.
I would like to start out by welcoming our newest board member, Newcomb Clark.
Yeah.
Thank you all for having me. The purpose of this special meeting is for the board to consider two resolutions from the Capital Improvements Committee that are time sensitive. The two resolutions relate to work being done on the Fifth Avenue underground parking garage, and therefore require immediate board action so that the project stays on schedule. The first of these resolutions, and both of them are here in your pack, is the resolution to authorize expenditures for water mains under South Fifth Avenue, South Division Street, and East William Street. The purpose, these water mains are being replaced. 6-inch water mains are being replaced by 12-inch water mains. This has been part of the planned project for some time, and it is something that needs to take place before we can start excavation.
I'd like to move it for the Capital Improvements Committee since you can't.
Support.
Discussion.
When is this work supposed to happen?
Adrian?
We have submitted for approval of permits by MDQ, and we are expected to get the permits in about a week or so. We have issued requests for quotes from contractors, so simultaneously we're talking about the next 2 or 3 weeks would be in a position to obtain permits from the city to start construction.
Knowing a lot of the property owners along this street, many of them have been reluctant to improve their fire safety. So I don't know if the standard kind of protocol of talking to them as we're ripping up the street, but it maybe we're reaching out to them if they're looking to upgrade their sprinkler systems or any of those kind of things, so they don't cut into the new street once it goes back down.
We will make sure that we notify people with letters and knocking on doors prior to shadow-outs and connections and transfer of services. We will do that.
Sandy?
There's a number of vacant parcels in this vicinity. What parcels will be able to tap into this?
Again, Adrian.
Any parcel that wishes to tap into the water main will be able to apply for a permit and be able to do that. The project will be supervised by the City of Ann Arbor Project Management Unit, and they typically issue notifications of the shut-off notice. So we will coordinate that, and we'll make it available to them, and we'll make sure that they get notification that if they wish to have a tap into the mains, they are able to do it at this time.
Okay. And for future development, like the library itself, the old Y site, and the First Martin property just to the east of the parking lot, will all those be served by this?
No, the old Y site will not be served by it. The water main goes from the intersection at Liberty and 5th to the current entrance of the parking lot. The rest of the water main gets abandoned in that section. The other water main along Division that goes from Liberty to William.
Okay, so it's primarily whatever would be a future building on that site.
Yes. And also to provide fire protection for the proposed parking garage.
Right.
I think it's like $75K attached to the fee, so making it very clear that not only is this happening, this may be an opportunity to get in now. I know a lot of work and business improvements have been delayed over the years because of the absence of this main, so a little communicating to everyone and saying getting is good is probably going to be.
Yeah, the 12-inch water mains follow the intended improvements by the city of Ann Arbor, which is to replace all water mains, meaning 6 inches, 4 inches, for 12 inches. That has been going on for many, many years. And they don't have those currently, and this project facilitates improvements along this block, so these 2 blocks.
Any further discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution passes. The second resolution approves the selection of the Chrisman Company for construction management services for the pre-construction phase of the South Fifth Avenue parking structure project. Before anyone moves this, we have a video from Chrisman that I would like to show to the board. Yes.
My name is Jim Bloom, and I'm a senior project manager at the Chrisman Company. This video is a tour of the Michigan Street Development Project in downtown Grand Rapids. This project contains many of the same features of the Fifth Avenue underground parking structure proposed by the Ann Arbor Downtown Development Authority. We at Chrisman understand firsthand the opportunities and challenges associated with a project of this scope. In this tour, we're going to give you the opportunity to meet some of the proposed team members that are currently working on the Michigan Street Development Project right now. Our team includes Carl Walker, with whom we have successfully put in place thousands of parking spaces. Chrisman is made up of experts, leaders, and partners in planning and constructing parking facilities in busy urban areas. We want to bring this expertise to your project.
My name is Gary Shannon, superintendent with the Chrisman Company. As far as construction, these decks are virtually identical. Both of them are Carl Walker designs, both of them are underground, both of them are post-tension, cast-in-place concrete. Both utilize an earth retention system. The soil profiles for both of these are virtually identical with the sand, and the depth of the excavation is approximately the same, 55 to 65 feet. We would expect that our means and methods would be virtually the same.
There are several similarities between the Michigan Street Development parking structure and the Ann Arbor Fifth Avenue parking structure. The Michigan Street Development structure required 2,500 lineal feet of earth retention system. In many cases, the earth retention system supported a cut up to 75 feet deep. The two structures will use very similar formwork designs. They're both cast-in-place, post-tension construction, and both will have very similar horizontal and vertical shoring requirements. One of the other major challenges at the Michigan Street Development Project was the Chrisman team and its trade contractors were required to excavate and haul off over 500,000 cubic yards of spoil. This site, as well as the Fifth Avenue site, has very limited space for cranes to travel around the perimeter of the excavation. That limits the use of conventional types of cranes such as crawler cranes and rubber-tired hydraulic cranes.
We use tower cranes and placing booms on the Michigan Street Development Project, and we would anticipate using similar means and methods for the South Fifth Avenue deck.
We anticipate the Fifth Avenue parking structure to be very similar and have the same challenges with site logistics, truck unloading, and hoisting.
Both of these projects are bounded by very busy city streets. Both of these projects are located in the middle of very active communities, requiring traffic control, pedestrian control. The MSD is right downtown Grand Rapids on Michigan Street, and of course South Fifth Avenue in downtown Ann Arbor.
This project required detailed coordination with adjacent contractors, the City of Grand Rapids, to put in place traffic control for loading and unloading of trucks, materials, and equipment.
Safety-wise, we would anticipate traffic control, pedestrian control, interfacing with the neighbors. Michigan Street Development was the first project in West Michigan where there was a partnership with MyOSHA. This partnership was very successful in helping us control and eliminate accidents and incidents on the job site.
We have had a parking garage under construction since approximately 2004 somewhere, and we're continuing to evolve our standard practices on how we manage safety, how we train for safety, and how we address the issues. Part of that is a continuous improvement in our training of our people and continue to minimize the hazards and get better at what we do. And ultimately, at some point, totally eliminate the hazard.
Both of these are very high visibility projects and very important to the respective communities.
Thank you for taking the time to visit the project site with us. If you'd like, we'd be more than willing to bring members of the DDA to the Michigan Street Development site so you can see for yourselves Chrisman's experts, leaders, and partners in action. We trust that you'll find that the Chrisman Company will be well suited as your construction partner for this important project.
There it was. Can we get lights? Thank you. All right. Somebody.
I would be glad to move the resolution for the board and for the Capital Improvements Committee.
Support.
Just a brief explanation of what's involved under this contract for pre-construction.
Mike, would you like to address the questions?
The way we set this up was eventually we want a construction manager at risk, very similar to a general contractor. But this first stage was to get a commitment from a construction manager for pre-construction services, which what they'll do is assist our team, the DDA, Carl Walker, and Luke and Mike, with cost estimating, constructability issues, so we can maybe improve some issues and reduce some costs.
Excuse me, for the people that may
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike Ortley.
Oh, would you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
and
there.
Mike Ortley from Carl Walker.
Mike,
I should introduce him.
I'll start. Let me start over. Mike Ortley, Carl Walker. And the reason we split this in two, the selection process, was ultimately what we want is a construction manager or a construction manager at risk, somebody to take the responsibility for a guaranteed maximum construction cost. And that's where we'll plan to be here in September, October. Right now, our goal is what's traditionally called pre-construction services, is to bring on a qualified construction manager / contractor that can assist the team with construction cost, constructability issues, to make sure that if they see some things that we can do a little bit better, more efficiently, construction-wise, cost-wise, and some of the phasing. So the idea was to select a CM for pre-construction services, and at the end of the pre-construction services period, which would be in early October, we would have a guaranteed maximum cost from the contractor, Chrisman in this case, and we would have the performance of working with them for about a month and a half. And if the DDA then says we like the performance and the construction cost guaranteed maximum is reasonable based on expectations, then they would enter into a second contract for construction management services for the project. At this time, there's no obligation to go from 1 to 2, contract 1 to contract 2. So all you're committing to now, asked to commit to now, is the pre-construction services.
My clarification, pre-construction services are not to exceed $40,000, correct?
Yes.
And the construction management, we have if they're chosen to continue with the entire project, we have a not to exceed number from them already on.
Well, what we received is an estimate. Because the project,
not on the whole project, just on the construction management services and general conditions.
Well, even that is an estimate, because the project needs to be defined. What we tried to do at that point was at least get an area, both from a construction cost estimate. Each firm that submitted and was interviewed spent a lot of time putting together the cost estimate. which is one of the reasons why we wanted to narrow down to 4 contractors at this point. They all put in quite a bit of time in that estimate, and we also asked them to give us an estimate of what their fees would be for construction management services. So both those were used as basically all 4 were in similar ballpark, which is what we were looking for. But you're not committing to any of that right now.
Correct.
Is there anything in the estimated price differentials? You know, these people are going to be working, if not in good faith, at least in thinking that they may get phase 2 here. A lot of that inventing the wheel, we're probably going to realize some benefits in terms of time savings, maybe cost savings. I'm wondering if there's any suspected or estimated price differential if we ultimately choose not to move forward with them for phase 2. Or are we going to have to bring it, if we bring a new firm in, are we going to have to start back at square one? Or are they going to be able to?
No, you wouldn't start back at square one. It would certainly be an inconvenience to the project because the pre-construction services firm is going to have a very good idea what the project involves and the communication and who they're dealing with. If you decided that you did not want to continue on with this firm, what we would recommend at that point, because the construction documents would be completed at that point, so we would at that point bid it out traditionally to general contractors. In which case it would be like a typical project. Here's the design, give us a bid, and we go ahead. Certainly the best way is to, if everything goes smoothly right now with Chrisman and the team, that's what everybody gets. But if it doesn't, then our back out is to bid it out.
Which would have time and cost implications.
You would have, yes. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Sam?
So these folks would be the ones that would plan the interaction with the neighborhood and how the road would be closed or affect neighboring sites during the construction process.
They'll have a big role in it. In fact, they'll be the ones on the ground once the construction starts. They'll be the fellow we saw, Gary Shannon. He was the proposed field superintendent. He would be the one communicating the desires of the DDA. Adrian's coordinating quite a bit of that right now. But in the end, when the construction starts, they are the ones that are the direct contact with the neighbors.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Roger?
I guess I'd like to point out and thank all the rest of the Capital Improvements Committee. We spent, I think, 7 hours between interviewing and discussion on this, and it was a very arduous process. And there were, everyone in the interview was very qualified for the job. I think the issue for me that came out is their experience building a structure that's very similar to what we're building and bringing that same team in to build this one. Other companies had experience doing this type of work, but no one was bringing the same team that is finishing up a project just like ours and bringing that team to work on this project. I thought that for me was the real key. And being familiar with that site in Grand Rapids, it's a very tight urban site. In fact, I was born in the hospital about half a block north of there. So I'm familiar with the site, and it's challenging. And I was very impressed with the work they had done and the similarity between the projects. So I feel very comfortable with the approach we're taking.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes.
Excellent.
And that is all the business that we have today.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.